One of the things that concerns me the most, it has been shocking and saddening, is that the individuals have come forward and they've not only had to relive their worst nightmares to tell their stories, but when they do, they are often still not being believed, or their motives and personal character are attacked. And I am sorry to say that you recently made remarks doing just that. I am appalled by the email you sent earlier this year disparaging Ms. Den Hollander, a gymnast who was abused by Dr. Larry Nassar under the watch of Michigan State and others. Your treatment of this issue raises concerns about how MSU will move forward here. Even with all the evidence, why did you doubt Ms. Den Hollander?
The email, of course, was in the midst of our very difficult negotiation, and it was private. It was never public, and it reflected, I guess, just the passions of the moment about whether or not there were referral fees being paid. The reality is that our actions today, I think, have consistently shown our support for the survivors, and that is what we have to create. We have to have a culture.
I'm going to interrupt you, Mr. Engler. I'm sorry. When you write an email referring to athletes as being manipulated, not only are these strong, accomplished, smart athletes who have overcome enormous barriers in their lives to reach the pinnacle of their sport, they have survived unspeakable abuse.
Right.
And the notion that you would think they could be manipulated by trial lawyers and that you would speak of them that way is just deeply, deeply offensive. Private email or not, it reflects an attitude at the top of the institution that you're asking this committee, your current students, your current athletes, your alumni to trust. And I think you have some repair work today, to put it mildly.
Well, I think you're right. That's why I apologized.
Well, thank you for the apology. I want to note that we keep applauding survivors of abuse for coming forward. And then even though we say the right words, we haven't yet really taken a look at the adults and institutions who were in charge and held them accountable. And what we do is we keep trying to make excuses for this unbelievable horror that these young people have experienced. And it really needs to stop. We need to take responsibility here. Michigan State needs to take responsibility. The committees need to take responsibility. And we need to change laws and hold people accountable. And I know that that's what this hearing is about. I know that that's what we're trying to do here. But at the end of the day, private email or not, disparaging these survivors takes all of the good work that so many people are trying to do to make sure this never happens again and moves us backwards.
Senator, I appreciate that. And as I said, that is why I apologized. I have 3 daughters, age 23, but exactly the same age as many of the survivors. And I know exactly what you're talking about. I recognize in my own family what could have happened. And I feel very deeply. That's why we worked so hard over the nearly 6 months I've been at Michigan State to fix the problem. When you're in litigation with 11 firms, emotions do get high. It's an adversarial process, and I confess to getting very frustrated. But at the end of the day, we did get the settlement done. We have fixed the policies. We've strengthened accountability. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit for the record an executive order that I did, created the Office of Risk Management, Ethics, and Compliance. It's part of the actions that, as Senator Blumenthal said, there's a lot of talk out there. There's a lot of support. But at Michigan State, we are fixing the problem. And you could not have a Larry Nassar again at Michigan State. You've got a challenge, I think, on the part of all universities and a lot of organizations to fix the relationships between the sexes and how do we deal with assault and misconduct. But I would argue that when we're done, we hope that what we've done at Michigan State can be a model for others. And I brought also 2 articles that are excellent articles, one from Midland Daily News, a local paper of my own old district, one from the Bleacher Report. These are survivors' testimonies, just as you said, where the media told the story, they got it out, and it helps to explain how challenging this is to fix. But I feel this deeply from a personal standpoint, and my actions have been consistent with my belief that this should never, ever happen again. None of these women should have to, or no future woman should have to go through what these women have gone through.
And one might suggest that they never should have needed to sue the university in the first place. Thank you very much.
I would agree with
Mr.
that.
Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, may I submit these for the record?